So you have a photo that you like, but maybe the colors aren't right. So in this example, I'm gonna take this nasty brown, disgusting grass and make it this vibrant green, okay? Super easy. You can see here, it's 2 layers plus the actual photo itself. So let's get going. Quick disclaimer, there's a million different ways to do something in Photoshop. This is just one way. Okay, so turn that off. You have your photo here. Jump on down here to the little cookie, half cookie thing here. Jump on over here to the Hue Saturation layer. This here, you can increase the saturation, change those colors. You can change your saturation. You can make it black and white. You can bring it all the way up. You can kind of just pop some of the colors. Sometimes that works really well. In this case, what I want to do is add some blue to that yellow. The underlying layer was the yellow-brown, kind of a dark reddish color. So here I'm adding that blue. Don't focus on the rest of this, just focus on the grass, because the rest of it we're going to mask out in a second, really easily. So here we go. So that's it. I have that nice green. I'm actually going to increase the saturation a little bit. It's going to be a little too much, but that's okay. We're going to dial it back in a second. So there we go. Done with that. If I want to, I can actually now kind of dial back that opacity. So you can see that there's the 0 opacity for that layer that we just had. I could bring it up a little bit, bring it all the way back to 100. I think I'm actually going to bring it down to, let's say like 88. I like 88. Why not? Let's do 88. Okay. So you can see here though, that we do have a lot of different things that are colored now. So if I zoom in, you can see these trees are now kind of this weird greenish color, and this building also has been affected. So right here, we have what's called a mask. If you're not familiar with it, I'll give you a quick run through. You have this in white is everything that's part of that hue saturation layer is visible. If I were to paint black on this mask, in this case, I'll do it right on the trees. You can see now they are not being affected. Okay, if I had to do it on the grass, you can see now there's a big black splotch right here on the mask. It is now not affecting that. So I'm just going to Command Z that. Okay, so I could go through here and manually adjust all this and say, hey, you know what, I don't want it on this building. Let me take it off here. Okay. I actually personally like doing things manually, but in this case, there's a lot of work that you would have to do in order to do that. So let's just paint all this in white. There we go. So instead, what we're going to do is go up to Select and go down to Color Range. That's going to pop up this whole photo here, and you can see that I can select here any color. So if I were to select this, it's going to select the sky, whatever color that is in the sky, that kind of bluish purple that's kind of currently in there. It's kind of that bluish purple. But in this case, I want this down here, which is kind of a yellowish brown. So I'm going to select the one where it gives me kind of the most of the area that I want. Go over here to the dropper where it has the plus sign so that I can add to that selection. And I'm just going to drag it across. Right like that. And you can see over here on the left-hand side, because I'm already on the mask, you can see what it's masking out. The stuff that's in the red is masked out. Again, it's up here, it's in black. And then everything else, you can see where the green is showing. So let me just see what happens if I do this here. So I'm just going to click OK. Bing, bang, boom. There are a couple things here that I would like to adjust. But overall, you can see it's not in the building anymore. It's not on the roadway. It's not in this building over here too. And it actually took it away from this. It wasn't something that you saw before, I don't think, but it took it away from this bright yellow, and it took it away from this, this kind of reddish color. Okay, so going back here, this now, we still see the trees definitely are affected by it. And maybe you want that. Maybe you want it because this is winter time and these are bare trees, and I'm adding a whole bunch of green to that grass, which is kind of unnatural. But in this case, it's just a sample. It's just an example, something for you to kind of practice with. But in this case, I'm going to refine it. I'm just going to take this, make sure that I have the default colors of white and black, which is just hitting D on the keyboard. I'm going to switch these around because I want to paint in black, so I'm going to hit X on the keyboard. You could also click on this little double arrow guy. I'm going to make sure that I'm on my mask. I'm going to hit B for brush, and now I'm just going to brush these guys out here. I'm going to make this guy bigger because he doesn't need to be small like that. And just like this, it's only going to take a minute because this is really the only part that I need to take away. I could leave it there, but I'm going to actually take it out there. Might take it out there too. Actually, I'll leave it in there. Why not? This is just a quick little tutorial. You can always refine this at your leisure. So you could leave it at that, nothing wrong with it. But I do want to add one more layer just to kind of adjust globally the brightness, bring down some of the highlights. You could do that in a number of different ways, but the way we're gonna do it is a camera raw filter, super easy to do. But what I wanna do is apply all these changes into one flat layer. So I'm gonna hit on a Mac, Alt or Command, Option, Shift, and E, and you'll get this layer right here, which is just all these bottom layers. You could have 50 bottom layers and it'll merge everything into one. So now I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna go up to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And if you're familiar with Lightroom, this is gonna look familiar. So I could just hit Auto. Let's see what happens with Auto. You can actually see it did quite a bit of what I wanted to do anyway. It brought down the highlights and the exposure up here. So now the sky looks a little bit better. This was before, that's after. So I'm actually not gonna do an awful lot more. I'm just gonna bring down these highlights a little bit more because this building right here is really vibrant, really bright. I don't think I'll really be able to pull too much of that away because of the sensor and how bright it was that day. And maybe what I'll do here is I could play with the vibrancy. I could maybe bring this up. You can see that's way too much. But you know, maybe I want to adjust it a little bit more. Maybe I kind of like that desaturated look. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Maybe I'll add some texture. Nope. But let's change that color mixture. Let's go to that green. Maybe we'll bring it down a little bit so it's not quite so green, or we could increase the green. Maybe you really like that green. Maybe that's just how you are, and that's what you want. You could have that be the end result there if you wanted. You could change the saturation here. I think I'm gonna actually leave it right there. Maybe bring it down just a tad, hit OK, and Bob's your uncle. That's it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Until next time, be good to each other. I'm gonna show you an example. I'm gonna show you an example. Ready? All right. Is that too much? Is that, because I get, is that too much? Too much?